What's going on, everybody? Welcome into this edition of Group Chat Sports. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this sort of content. Ohio State fans, man, I feel like I say this every time we talk about your program, especially when it comes to recruiting lately and at the wide receiver spot. It's just not fair what the Buckeyes continue to do. As yesterday, big time pickup at the wide receiver position. Kayden Dixon-Wyatt, 4-star out of Mater Day, commits to the Buckeyes. This is a huge get for a multitude of reasons. This is a guy originally from Oakland, California. So that's he plays for Mater Day, but from Oakland. And this is a big win for Ohio State, as they've been having a lot of big wins on the recruiting trail. Chooses the Buckeyes over Oregon, USC, Alabama. Plays with his high school teammate, Chris Henry Jr. is a commit for the Buckeyes. Of course, many consider him the number one receiver in the country. And with Dixon-Wyatt, by the numbers, by the rankings, I should say, rated 107 overall in the 247 Sports Composite. 247 has them a bit higher in their own rankings, having him rated as number 59 overall player in the country and the number 6 wide receiver. But you're getting a top 100 sort of talent, top 10 to 15 wide receiver consensus in this recruiting class. And we can talk about rankings all we want, but at the end of the day, you look at the schools that were recruiting him: the Oregons, the Texas, the USC, the Alabama, the Miamis. So you're talking about the elite of the elite when it comes to recruiting, and Kayden Dixon-Wyatt continues to kind of show what Ohio State has done early on this cycle recruiting-wise. Number 3 class in the country. This is commit number 12. And interestingly enough, him and his teammate Chris Henry are 2 of the top 3 highest-rated players in the class right now, according to the 247 rankings. As we said, as I pull up his highlights here, let's get into the player. 6'2", 180, physical profile. So a guy who has the speed, has the athleticism, the twitch you're looking for, but from a physical standpoint has that frame, that next level NFL sort of frame. You see his get off there. You see him make this play between 2 defenders there, goes up and gets the football. Real red zone threat, a guy who is going to be able to move the chains for you, convert, and then again has the ability with the ball in his hands after the catch that you can't just label him as a possession receiver, right? You see his ability to create separation there on that route. As we continue to go through these highlights, you'll see the total package that Kayden Dixon-Wyatt brings to the table. You see that double move there, touchdown. And I think as a red zone target is someone who can be a player pretty immediately at Ohio State. We understand the talent that they're going to bring in year after year at receiver. So not always super easy for the freshman to break through, but if you're good enough, you will play. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith, we saw what he did last year. Smith was the number 1 player in the country, so not quite on that level in terms of what he's looking at coming out of high school. But regardless, a guy who I think does have the physicals to be able to play early on, right? There's a whole lot more that goes into it, but I think he checks that box without a doubt. And I mentioned Jeremiah Smith. It's interesting. He said part of his reason for wanting to come to Ohio State was because of Jeremiah Smith. And he says, getting a year under my belt with the best receiver in college football, I think will be big for my own improvement. So obviously Smith will be a sophomore this upcoming year. Kayden Dixon-Wyatt comes in the year after that. So he would have 1 year with him. We don't expect Jeremiah Smith to be in college for 4 years if everything continues to go as planned. But that's how influential Jeremiah Smith is for recruits, because they're saying, man, I might have a chance to play with this guy. So just looking at the numbers, Dixon-Wyatt, again, Mater Day, such a well-rounded, balanced program, powerhouse that he's not going to be, and he's playing with one of the other top receivers in the country, in Chris Henry Jr. So the numbers aren't going to be insane, but still 50 receptions, 693 yards, 5 touchdowns last year. Earned Alpha Dog honors at the All-22 event in Las Vegas last spring that had a bunch of top recruits. And again, really a physical type of receiver, like Emeka Egbuka. You've seen throughout this highlight tape his ability to go up and get the ball, in tight coverage. You see you see the speed. You see him lining up. You see him lining up in the slot. You see him lining up on the outside. So the versatility that he's going to bring to the table for you is going to be a beautiful thing for Coach Hartline and Ohio State. Just looking once again at this recruiting class, 12 commits right now, third ranked overall behind USC and Notre Dame. USC number 1, Notre Dame number 2, Ohio State number 3, Penn State at 4 behind that, and then Clemson at number 5. But he's now the third receiver commit. We've talked about Chris Henry Jr., his teammate, and then fourth wide receiver commit, Jaden Ricketts, and then Brock Boyd, a recent flip from TCU, from South Lake Carroll, powerhouse program that Brian Hartline is a huge fan of. And we did a video on Brock Boyd a few weeks back when he flipped. So if you guys haven't checked that out, please do so. But love his upside at the position. So 4 receiver commits now for the Buckeyes, and you expect them to continue to keep it rolling on the trail. This was a big one. Kayden Dixon-Wyatt, you beat out the Oregon, USC, Texas, Alabama likes. Huge recruiting win here for the Buckeyes, for Ryan Day. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Ohio State fans will have you covered with all the big recruiting pickups, any other portal stuff that might happen here, and the latest as we get into the summertime here, getting ready for the season. Keep it locked on Group Chat Sports.